Welcome back to another episode of That's Business. Today's guest, Breona Clawson, is a dynamic digital strategist and founder of Eloquent Digital Marketing, a boutique agency dedicated to helping brands, organizations, and consultants grow with clarity, creativity, and systems that scale. With a background in e-commerce, content creation, and digital operations, she specializes in building powerful brand presence through storytelling, strategy, and seamless execution. Breona, I'm so pumped to have you on this podcast today. You are this marketing, storytelling mastermind. Growing up, did we know we wanted to be this person, or what did you want to be when you grew up?
So growing up, I always said I wanted to be on TV. That was my thing. I would gather my siblings up and put on little shows. Sometimes I had no idea what we were saying or doing, but yeah, I think it's always been in me. And then when I got into middle school, I was the choir girl. And then when I got into high school, it was drama. So I think it's always been in me. But as far as storytelling, I think as I got older, I was like, hey, I like telling my story. Why don't I also help tell other people's story to amplify them and their impact as well?
Absolutely. Now, talk us through that journey of deciding to start your own business, because it ain't an easy one, as we have trauma bonded over the last few weeks of trying to schedule something with my shit show schedule and life kicking both of our booties.
Life's crazy.
Yes, life be lifing lately, right? What was that journey like, or how did you decide, you know what, I'm doing my own thing?
Yeah. So my first business that I ever did was e-commerce. I started an online hair accessory boutique. I was also working in healthcare. I was working in behavioral health. It can be very, very, very tiring, exhausting, all the things. So I was originally using that as an outlet, right, to stay sane. And then my coworkers started buying from me and I'm like, okay, I think I'm onto something here. But one thing that I realize is how am I going to get consistent customers or have the customers that I have come back? And that's when I slowly but surely started the journey of social media marketing. And I mean, this was before TikTok. This was when we were doing live sales. This is when we were doing all that stuff. So I went in strong with that. But the one thing that I realized that always kept me afloat is just telling the story of why did I start this brand? Here's how I can help, instead of it being buy.
That's an interesting point you bring up. So navigating, of course, the social media age of now we have TikTok, and now it's you need to be on social media. And if you're not doing anything, blah, 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 blah. So how was that transition for you? And how do you keep up with it? Because I'm overwhelmed, let alone someone like you who's literally into it. So how does that work? How do you do that?
So first it was more do pop-up shops, vendor events and things like that were huge. And then we had COVID happen, right? During COVID was a time where we either knew businesses are doing great and they've been doing what they needed to do behind the scenes, all that good stuff, or there were businesses that you didn't know what you were doing. You probably shouldn't have been in business. I was already online. I think what helped me understand that maybe a product-based business for what I was doing was not necessarily going to be long-term, but that allowed me to understand what you need in order to keep your customers engaged, to keep your business-to-business relationships as well through marketing. And not just our basic social media marketing, but email marketing, newsletters, all these different avenues. The transition happened for me during COVID because a lot of my friends were struggling and they were I don't know what to do. So I started a Facebook group and I was here's what I know. Here's what we can do while we're in COVID. And that really took off. And that's when I realized hair accessory business isn't going to be sustainable, unfortunately. But that's okay, because that gave me the ability to then start my own social media agency. So now we're going on, it'll be 3 years in January, actually, of doing it. But one thing that I specifically wanted to focus on that I noticed is people want to go viral. They want to post on social media, but they didn't have the systems behind the scenes digitally set up to do that. So that's kind of my sweet spot and my niche within my business as well.
Now, exploring that further, because that's always what do I need to do to go viral? Well, I'm going to replicate the same formula someone else did in the same video. But what do these systems, without giving away, obviously, what you do for a living and people pay you for, but what are some of these systems you typically see that people are not set up with, or what they need to as a small business owner?
Yeah. So when you're like utilizing Facebook, there's a lot of back end. Like, do you have your pixels set up, right? Do you have the right SEO set up? Are you collecting leads? Like, those are things that happen on the back end that people may not know. So that's why I like to give that education. And the reason why those things are important is because it's going to help your algorithm, right? Algorithm changes all the time, unfortunately. But if you have those specific tools in place, those never change, right? You want to use the tools that these platforms have, every tool, because the more you use all those tools, the more the platform's going to push you out. And it can be overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me, and I do this for a living. You got stories, you got highlights, you got this, you got videos, you got all these things. But I always tell people is like, start with your top 2 platforms that you feel that you like already, you can navigate decently, and really just let those be your main things. Yeah, you can do a little YouTube, you can do podcasts if that's your thing, but really your bread and butter should be the 2 platforms that you're able to operate well, meaning you could post on it, you understand, how to engage with your clients. And I think if you use that formula, if you will, then all the other platforms will be a lot easier, because essentially, if you take away what society says you need to do and you just be consistent and tell your story, you'll start to notice that. And that's what I did. I'm not a 10K plus agency. Like, I'm not. And I kind of have it set that way because I want to show like there's only 300 people following me on this platform, but my community piece is huge and the impact I do there. And so that's what helps me. And then the 300 people that I have are all loyal 300 people, right? You can have 10,000 people, but maybe only 5 of those people are engaged. So then really it doesn't make sense for your analytics or your insights as well. So I hope I answered that.
Absolutely. Well, and it's definitely the conversation of quality over quantity, because like you said, I mean, who's actually buying from you, who's engaged from you, and 300 is a huge number to have 300 active people who are actively engaged with you and actively living, breathing, eating what you do. Like, Breona posted, what do we need to do? Like, that's huge. That's exactly what you want. I think you're one of the, I don't know if the only, but one of the few people in social media or marketing that are like, just do what you need to do. And pick the 2 platforms. I wish you and I had met about 7 years ago when I started this business. And I was like, I'm going to do everything as a solopreneur, and burnt out and did nothing.
You get burnt out and then you're no good. Then like the greatness that you have to offer to your communities, they can't see it because you're so burnt out, or maybe you've invested so much time in this said tool that you forgot about all these other tools that your business needs and runs, or organization for that matter too.
Absolutely. And what I keep seeing, and maybe it's just with clients I'm seeing or people in my network, but people are now realizing like, oh crap, I need to have social media, that maybe they didn't have it before. So how would you approach navigating, hey, I'm a new business owner, I want social media, I don't know where to start, I have nothing. How do you kind of decide that? I mean, obviously industry agnostic, but where do you even start for someone that's like deer in the headlights on that?
So first the question is like, what does your business or your organization do? Like, what is your main goal? Now people will say to make money, and I'm like, no shit. Like,
yeah, duh.
Yeah. What are you wanting to do to get there? So that's like usually what I try to find out. And a lot of times I just need brand awareness. Like, I need people to even know that I exist, right? So that's setting up just a basic platform, right? That's going to be step 1, right? Do I have my bio? Do I have a clickable website? And guys, don't get scared when I say website. You don't have to get that big fluff website right up front. You can utilize things like Canva, Linktree, things like that. Is there a way that people can contact you? What are your hours? Like that basic stuff. The next thing is what is your brand? Like, what does it look like? What is your brand voice? How do you want to show up online? And what is realistic to you? Because if you're not going to hire me to post and it's earn you, and I'm more so giving you the ideas and the tools, then you have to find something that's realistic for you that you can post to that's consistent, right? The next thing is how much time and money can you invest in this thing, right? We have to be realistic, because a lot of people up front will dump a lot of money into marketing. It's like, oh, wait, I need to go find a space now for my business, or I need to do this and that. And it's like, sometimes you want to just start really small to make sure all the other systems are in place. So that's kind of how I go at it. And usually 9 times out of 10, it's like, I just need to get my business out there. All right, so we're going to do this for the next couple months. We're going to make sure that our content makes sense to our audience. and really make sure that what I'm offering, or what that business, I should say, is offering, or organization, is really what the community needs. Because sometimes, unfortunately, people start a really great business, but that need is already met by somebody else and by somebody else. So another big piece is market research. Is this really going to be a sustainable business or organization for you as well?
That's great. I mean, just the auditing, and I just keep seeing places with bad links or wrong phone numbers popping up lately. And it's almost like back to basics on some of these things of, yeah, you have the social media, you're doing the things, but I think a lot of people forget how important the links are. And I love that you brought up the whole website, because that was my biggest thing was I'm like, I don't have the money for a fancy website. And I waited, I think 3 or 4 years, and it made such a difference. But I love that. You just meet people where they are. So that's incredible.
And that's what's the beauty of it, because I think some more, and I don't know if you're seeing it, I don't know if you're feeling it, but no shade to the restaurant industry. I know right now things are crazy, but I do find that that's an industry that really needs VA support, virtual assistant support. Why? And I know it's a little bit different than social media. It's like you said, you go to Google and it says it's open, and you drive to said restaurant and it's not open. It's like those little things can really make or break your business or your business reputation. And that still falls under social, right? I'm going on to Google because it's a platform that we all use to find whatever we're looking for. And specific to restaurants, I find that with them, it's like, oh, well, if I just like post once, then everyone will come. Oh no, that's not how that works. You need to kind of tap into your community. The restaurant that I think that did a really good job with the open is called Bloom, I want to say it's called, in Southfield, Michigan. And I've been following them. And the way that they did it was really interesting. They utilized local Detroit food content creators, invited them to a showcase. At least that's how I perceived it. Now, if I'm wrong, Bloom, I'm sorry. And invited these individuals that people go to because they're the experts in the food industry. Had them come in and did this whole content thing. And they were able to leverage other people creating content for them, because now it's showing real people in the space with real reviews. So things like that really help. And then you can take that content and put it on your Google profile. I hope I answered your question.
No, it's so true. And I, as someone who has family in the restaurant business, and they're like, you could do our social media. I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth to do it. It's so true. And it's so much to keep up with. Of you're on Yelp, you're on Google Suite, you're on Maps, you're on Google Maps, you're on Waze. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so much. And I think that's a huge area of opportunity. And even watching the difference, I mean, at least from my journey with the Resume Rescue and then helping my uncle's restaurant, just the difference in platforms. And I don't do it, so we need to have a conversation offline about social media with that. But I totally agree, because my Facebook account for the Resume Rescue does not do anything. But running his Facebook for the maybe once a week I post and can handle posting, I mean, leaps and bounds over me. I think I was in business 4 years at the time. And when I started the Facebook for the bar, it just like skyrocketed, because that's his clientele that are on there. Exactly. And I was like, okay, well, LinkedIn makes more sense for me, but it's really not a one size fits all. And I think people need to realize
it's test it out. And when I say test it out, like, you guys got to give like 69 days, like 2 days, 10 days is not enough time to see real results, especially because it's like that first 30 days. A lot of people won't see your content. It might just be like the close people that liked your page. Then the next month, you'll start to see a bigger reach. And then the next month. So it's just like being patient and really understanding that in the beginning, it's going to feel like it's not doing anything. But if you stay consistent, it will. And if it fall off a little bit, it's okay, because we're human, right? Things happen in life. But if anyone notices on my LinkedIn page, I'll say, ooh, I have not posted in a while. But here's
you just
why.
did that yesterday. Yeah, I said that this week. Yeah,
just meeting yourself and just saying like, shit, I've been busy. Life is crazy, but let me tell you my journey, because maybe someone else is going through that similar, and then that can help motivate them. So it's also kind of thinking forward, right? What is the intention behind? Don't just post shit to think that, okay, I did it. If it's not connecting, it's not going to translate, then you're not going to have those conversions.
Business owner 101 of who's your customer? Why do they want you? Back to basics.
Yes.
Like, get your stuff aligned.
What problem are you solving?
Right. Exactly. Yes. Now, talking about when things go viral, I'm sure this is a comment you get all the time. Everyone wants to go viral. I mean, from the posts that you've seen that hit the mark, do crazy with your own experience, What are some of the characteristics you typically see? And I know that's not a one size fits all answer, but from your perspective.
A lot of people are not ready. Like you have a product-based business, let's say. I'm trying to like form it so that I'm not disclosing too much, but a product-based business can go viral, right? And when I say viral, this particular person was able to make money off of this viral post, right? And this was specifically off of TikTok, which is, in my opinion, an easier platform to go viral off of. Great, right? I'm talking thousands. I'm talking like they did really well. But they didn't do really well. Why? Because there wasn't systems set up. So this is a product-based business. So there was no shipping set up really correctly to understand like how much is needed to ship out said products. And then there wasn't inventory that was set up correctly. So these many people checked out, but really in the back end, there wasn't that many products. So now it's refunds or it's long wait time. So then you do have to return it. So if you get what I'm saying, it's like, you can go viral. It's great, but are you prepared for the viral, right? Are you prepared for that influx of shipping and things like that? Because when I first started an e-commerce business, when you made a sale, you got the money instantly, which allowed for people to then say, okay, I can take said funds, get my shipping out of that, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's not the case anymore. Unfortunately, some people didn't do right by their people. So now it's person will buy the product and then it is on you to have money to then fund the shipping and things of that nature. So it's just like a lot of different things that people don't realize that they need on the back end, which then hurts their brand. And that person's, I don't even think they're in business anymore. So it can be great in that moment, but then afterwards you're like, oh no, my whole brand is essentially tarnished. Because once that one person's like, oh my God, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Everyone sees it. Everyone's going to be like, okay, then I don't want to deal with it. So we have to make sure that before we want to go viral, and sometimes you don't know when you're going to go viral, just making sure that you have everything on the back end set up.
That's so real. I had one post on LinkedIn, I think it was like 2 years ago, I want to say, was not expecting to hit it. And it hit almost 9 million views. And then we were booked out. And it wasn't even anything that I thought would. It was just me ranting. But I'm like, oh my gosh. And my one employee that helps with my LinkedIn profile, she's like, you got to help me. Like, we have 300 some messages. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And in that situation, it's like automation can help with that, right?
Yes.
When you went viral, let's put in some automation so that every time this trigger happens, something can be produced. And sometimes it can just be as simple as like, you have good automation, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. I got to tell Destiny. She'll be thrilled. Yes.
Yes. Good job, Destiny. But like that really, as you could tell, like it really goes a long way. It really has you, like you feel like, okay, I did the thing and now I could go walk away and go talk to another lead or whatever. Or these things are still working in the background, which is like the best thing ever.
It is, because even just, little automations from like the leads on social media on the topic we're on, it's like, okay, that was a mistake I made early on in my business was, oh, does this time work for you? Well, then they take 3 days to get back to you and then that session's covered. But there's so many, I feel, just reasonable tools to meet you where you are financially that just give the overall like customer experience so much better. But one hot take I want to get from you, how do you feel about AI? Because that's, of course, the hottest and greatest topic right now. But how do you feel about using AI in what you do or what people do for their marketing, social media, stuff like that?
So I've been using AI. I like ChatGPT. It's a her. We're best friends.
She is, yes.
I use it to allow for me to set better systems a little bit faster. I don't use it in the sense of some people use it literally for everything. And that's okay. But I think that a lot of people think that AI is going to put digital marketers out of business. I don't think so. There's still that piece of like human interaction that's still needed that AI is just not ever going to be able to do. Or the fact that, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. AI is something that can help you expand your business a little bit quicker than what we would if we didn't have AI, right? It's your friend that's helping you, but it's not your friend that you're dependent on. In the social media world, it has helped me really be able to help more people because now I have the automations, right? AI automations is amazing, even down to building apps, right? Because that's something that I do too, or at least I'm trying to get into, right? It's like I can use these tools to help me kind of go faster in the process, but it still requires the brain to tell it what it needs to do or to even understand what I want said thing to do. So I like AI. I don't like necessarily that people use it in the wrong way. Like, I'm going to make a whole video and it's not accurate information. So I just say people still do your research, still like make sure you fact checked, because fortunately you have people who just put shit out there and it's not the best information. But overall, AI can be really helpful. It can really scale your business, but also still be mindful of what information you're putting into AI as well. If that makes any sense of what I just said.
It does. Stop questioning yourself. You are giving great answers. Yes, it's true. And I feel if you're not familiar with the tools, I think you're a little behind. We get asked all the time, like, do you use AI to write resumes? And no, we don't. I use it to check resumes. I use it to explain something of put this type of skill set in layman's terms to me so then I could take that knowledge and then rewrite something.
Exactly.
We use it actually for our social media of like, okay, explain this event because I'm too in my head about it based on what you know about the resume rescue. And what you said of your AI is a she, like you can train it. It's almost like a business partner.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just so helpful to get out of your own head if you're like wanting to bang your head against the wall because you're so stuck on a concept. It's been great. So I love how you brought that up because I totally agree about scaling your business so much quicker. And not to say, but the human element. And I love you saying, I don't think digital marketing will ever go away because it needs that human element, because marketing won't be a thing then if everyone is posting the same exact thing from AI. Exactly. You're totally right.
We'll all literally like be in the screen like this and like, but like, and I think too, like when I speak to like our baby boomers, and they're like, oh, so I don't like AI because it's not real or you don't know what you're getting. And I'm like, yeah, those are true facts. But there are still a lot of people who use it in the right way. And like I said, it can help in so many different ways. I also do agree with if you use like ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever your choice is, to pay for the paid plan because it really does make a difference. Especially ChatGPT, you can only use it for so long and then your memory is full. When your memory is full, that means it is not outputting any more additional information. It's just recycling the same thing over and over. So you're really not getting the full AI experience. I wanted to put that out there because I don't know if people realize that.
Well, it's something interesting, and I'd love to see your thoughts on this too. I had a client, she has her ChatGPT trained. She also calls hers a her as well. And she has the paid version, and she had used it to ask ChatGPT what they know about me. What do you know about Angela? Should I hire her as a career coach based on what you know about me and based on Angela? Because she had all these career coach options. She's like feeling lost. And the way ChatGPT, and I don't have the paid version, that's like next step actually. So let me be clear. But the way it nailed me of just like how I am in my personality, and it freaking recommended 3 of the podcast episodes. I think your episode like 180 or something, like we're up there. It's like, listen to these 3 episodes where Angela talks about her journey.
I love that.
And I'm like, wait, this is a huge marketing platform I didn't even think about for SEO of, what is it, AEO now we're calling it?
Yes.
I was just like, what?
But that just shows like the positive power behind it, as long as you have your platforms set up correctly. Like you literally just got a lead with minimum work currently. Obviously in the beginning you had to do all the things, but if you think about it, like AI is working for you without you even knowing it.
But that goes back to having those systems in place and checking that your phone number works and checking what your online presence is, because mine's pretty out there. Yours is pretty out there. I mean, I see your stuff all the time and you kill it, especially, I mean, LinkedIn's my baby, as you know, but I see you all over the place. Like you are just killing it. And I feel like before we started recording, I was telling Breona, I was like, you are doing everything all at once. Like, I know what you're doing. I know what events you're at. I know what you're a part of. And even from me just like scrolling, and that's so huge, especially for being a business owner. Like that's awesome. And that's, I feel like, the dream.
Sometimes you do the work and you don't necessarily always know the full impact. So having that, you say that means a lot. So thank you for that.
Of course. But I mean, I just met with a friend of mine I just haven't seen in 2 years, and he's in Royal Oak. There's no reason I can't see him. Like it's just life, and life's been life. And yep. He's like, I see what you do all the time. Like, oh yeah, I know you had a rough September. Oh yeah, I know this. I'm like, oh, people do listen to it. So How do you kind of navigate those waters on those days when life be lifing and everything balls up? Because you do so many different things and you are everywhere all at once. How do you still maintain that and not just burn out and just never post again for months? Because you may go a few days, but I feel like you still come back out of it.
Yeah. My husband, shout out to my husband, shout out to our partners out there that support us. And also I have good friends, like honestly, like you, Amanda, Revamp, Dell, like shout out to all these people. When we get together, we just automatically like pour into each other. And I think that helps. And then Sundays are my non-negotiable self-care Sundays. So that's no device. And the only way that I'm on a device is if it feels good to me and I don't feel like I have to be on this platform for work or whatever. That's honestly how I keep up, because I do a lot of shit. It's not shit, sorry. I do a lot of stuff.
A lot of good things. A lot of good shit, right?
As a creative, I don't ever want to be put in a box, because what may work today may not work tomorrow. And I always want to put myself one step ahead, possibly. So like, I believe in having my foot in the e-commerce. For example, I have an e-commerce line that I've just never promoted it. So 2026, you're going to see all of the e-commerce stuff I have for my product for Eloquent Digital Marketing. So one thing that I realize is if you don't feel creative in your space, then you don't usually produce good information. So we have tools for that. Or if you're a content creator and you're not sure like what tools to use, you need a tripod, you need this, we offer all that too. So just kind of keeping my foot in every lane. But then Sundays are like self-care Sunday with myself or with my husband and my family.
Okay, that's great. And I need to do that. So I will let you know when I do that, because people keep being on me of like, what are you doing for self-care? I'm like, I don't know, nothing.
Yeah, it's hard. But I think for me too, just because I come from the background of mental health, I know that if I don't give myself to pause, then I'm no good to anybody.
Right.
So I really try. And sometimes I may not get the full Sunday, but even if it's just like 2 hours, something. Yeah.
Now, you've given so many incredible insights already, but as we wrap this up, what advice do you have for listeners?
My advice is, as we go into the new year, just really think about what you want your brand or your organization to be known for. If you're like a product-based business, make sure that you have really good products and that your inventory is set up well so that you don't miss a beat or someone doesn't feel that they didn't get what they were supposed to get. If you're an organization such as a nonprofit, continue to give impact, but also make sure you support your volunteers by providing some type of like incentives and thank yous and things like that. And then for service-based businesses, just make sure that you just be your authentic self and just continue to help your community. With all those things said, if you just stay consistent and be yourself, I think that you'll have an incredible year.
You're incredible. And for those of you listening, please go work with Breona. I think you are the most genuine person I have ever met, like just from the snap of like, I didn't have to get to know you, but you are just so great at what you do. And you're just so welcoming and you're just such good people. So you're listening to this, go work with Breona and tune in again next week for another episode of That's Business.